Good morning, and thank you for watching the Toussaint Show. I am your host, Larry Toussaint. You might have seen my last rant about fast food wars. Well, after reviewing it and posting it, I was thinking, you know what? We got so much more to talk about. I couldn't just leave my viewers hanging like that. So with that, I'm going to go ahead and pick up where I left off at. I'll go ahead and start with these instances where customers have these concerns about, employees spitting in food. Well, let me tell you right now, we don't do that there. That's just one thing we did not do. But anytime a customer would say something about, y'all probably spit in my food, or are y'all gonna spit in my food, I would tell them, oh, we charge extra for that. And a few times they'd say, you probably should have charged me, so just give me back my money. You gotta tell me twice. And there was this one instance where we had this guy come through the drive-thru in a pickup, ordered a couple of ice cream products, and well, he drops his change in the drive lane. And he looks at me like, and then says, am I going to get my 30-something cents? It's your fault. And I'm like, fella, your change is down there. All you have to do is just open your door. And then I shut the window on him. And then he taps on it and says, can I just have my money back? Because y'all are probably spitting in my food. And I told him, we don't do that here. Otherwise, we charge extra for that. And then he started going on about why make the same mistake twice, talking to me like I'm some kind of incompetent or whatever. And once he started to drive off, this is where I fucked up. I'm like, frick. And he heard me. His brake lights came on, then his reverse lights came on. And then I just went ahead and went back into my office, and then I hear the drive-thru window slam open, and he hollers, where's the manager? And one of my employees was like, Larry, you got to come take care of this. I get up there, and he has something to write with, and he's like, what's your last name? And I went ahead and gave him a fictitious last name, being Shackelford. And he's like, Shackelford? And I'm like, yeah, shackle is in the shackles, the braces they put on you when you're going to jail and you're riding in a bus or whatever. Ford is in fix or repair daily, found on road dead. And he's like, how the hell are you going to call me a prick, this, that, and the other? And I'm going to fix you up real good. And he drove off. Needless to say, I never heard back from the home office on it either. So whether he called them or not, whatever. And another one, the decisive people, the ones that take forever and a year to order. I don't rush them because, in fact, that's one of the things we didn't do. We let them take their time and decide what they want. Unlike places like McDonald's, I've noticed over there they give you this look like, hurry up and order, because they're under this time is money crap. We didn't treat customers like that. And a few times there would be someone behind that individual ready to order. They would start bitching and complaining at us like, why didn't you tell them to hurry up? And all I could say is, probably for the same reason I'm not going to tell you to hurry up. And they wouldn't have much to say about it, and if they did, I'd be like, look, I ain't trying to be rude when I say that, but it's only fair. I'm not going to rush you, so I ain't going to rush anyone else either. It's only fair. And there was this one time we were actually blackmailed, because unfortunately we have a water cup policy, and no, I don't agree with the price either. If someone just wants a water cup, it's 65 cents, because, people are asking for water cups. They go over to where the water is on the cold drink machine and get them a cold drink instead. So because of that, water cups are 65 cents unless you're making a purchase already. Then we just give it to you. Well, there was this one instance where these two women came in. They were not together, but my employee thought they were together. One of them asked for a water cup, so she gave it to her. The other one made a purchase. And then, about 10 minutes later, this guy comes in asking for a water cup. She charged him, and she asked to speak to the manager. And it was an honest mistake, and she's all going on and on about how her sister had a job at Valero, and she made an honest mistake, and she needed that job, and she got fired. And that's when I told her, you know what? I'm sorry to hear about what went on your sister's end, but I'm not going to fire this individual, because if that's the case, I would be supporting what apparently Valero did. And I just wasn't going to do that. But to cover everyone's assets, I did have to give her a written reprimand on it, and I allowed her to write her own statement on the back of it before I faxed it over to the home office. Well, before she leaves, she started asking for names, and she said, if I ever come here again and I see this individual still working here, my boyfriend has a radio station who does a talk show. We will talk bad about y'all, every single one of y'all. And I told her, you know what? I'm going to tell you right now. Once again, everything was based on an honest mistake. I'm sorry about the inconvenience, this, that, and the other. I've done everything I could. But look, I'll tell you right now. If I listen to that radio station and I dare hear my name come across it, I will countersue. What's it called? For damn, it just left me. Defamation of character. That's what I'm looking for. I will sue for defamation of character. Just let me hear it come across. And she never told me what station it was, so whether she did or not, I don't know. I mean, I never heard any bad reviews back, so. But yeah, if she would have told me what station it was and I heard my name, yeah, defamation of character. Oh, and another thing, one of my duties as a manager was anytime one of the employees would get out of line or whatever, we had intervention steps. It would be a verbal warning, written reprimand, 2 written reprimands for the same thing you fired. And I've only had to fire like maybe 2 people in my whole career. But here was my thing about it. Because I was an easygoing manager, it took a lot for me to write you up. And by a lot, you'd have to do one of 2 things. Either something serious or disrespect me. And by disrespect me, the 2 things that it would fall under is if you intentionally defied me whenever I asked you to do something, or if you lied to me. One example of a write-up I had to do, because there was an instance where an employee was, in the back area, but we could hear her all the way to the front. And she was cussing, just cussing, and the customers could hear it. I go back there where she's at, and I'm like, why are you cussing? That was my question. Not were you cussing, why were you cussing? And her response was, I wasn't cussing. So I go into my office. Well, what could have been a verbal warning for cussing turned into 2 write-ups. One for cussing and another one for lying. And then she kind of went off whenever I wrote her up. I'm like, she's like, why are you writing me up? And I'm like, well, everyone up front heard you cussing, even me. I come back there, I asked you, why were you cussing? And you said you weren't. So you lied. I don't appreciate that. Never had any problems out of her after that since. And, of course, another thing I'd have to do as a manager was make sure the employees cleaned and stocked their stations before they left. And if they did, because, if they don't, it's not fair to whoever comes in after them because they got to work twice. Well, what I would do, anytime something like that would happen, I would reset the schedule next week to where, the pattern would be vice versa. And I would tell them, I'm going to put this individual in your station. Don't even bother cleaning it. And when that person gets it, they'll be like, well, why is this and that not stocked? Why is this thing a mess? It looked like Katrina came through here. And I tell them, well, you remember last week when you didn't clean? Yeah, it's not fair to the other person, is it? Of course, that's just a first preliminary intervention. The next one, of course, will be the proper steps. And there was this one time where I had another employee who was working in the kitchen. One of our dishes, of course, was chicken strips. And, well, she served out rubber chicken. I mean, it just wasn't edible. And she was insisting on serving it to this customer in the drive-thru. And she kept saying, it's fresh, it's fresh. And I'm like, no, it's not. Just look at it. It's fresh. And then I just threw it in the garbage and said, you need to remake it. And she's like, why you do that? It's fresh. And because I hadn't had a cigarette all day, I just lost it. I'm like, this crap is not fresh. You need to remake it and do it right. So she runs into the back, picks up the telephone, and calls the general manager over me and starts crying on the phone. Unbelievable. And let's see. Now, of course, because it is in Austin, Texas, now how much that has to do with it, I don't know. But one of the benefits I reaped from spending most of my life in Texas was my ability to know Spanish also. Now, I don't speak it super fluently, but it did help where I was working. And the thing that would get on my nerves about it, though, was anytime, the ones who couldn't speak English would come in, most of the time I was able to successfully take their order. Unfortunately, this is the part that really would get on my nerves. They would automatically assume, just because I'm white, I don't know Spanish. And I'd be like, and as soon as they'd see, a Hispanic coworker walk behind me, they'd immediately flag them down and start speaking Spanish. And I'd be like, puto, and just walk off and let them deal with it. Which, of course, for those that don't know, puto is like saying bitch or fuck you, or, it's a dirty word, let's put it like that. But yeah, that's pretty much all I have to rant about now. And if I can think of some more, or if anyone has any suggestions, feel free to let me know. And I will be more than happy to make a third sequel. Other than that, that's all I got for right now. Once again, I'm Larry Toussaint, and I thank you for watching. Y'all have a blessed day.